Elliott, post-match reaction, Jersey Bulls, final score of 1-1. Happy with that result?
Very much so. The boys were absolutely brilliant today. They know I wasn't happy after the Cobham result. They know that regards to our standards and what we expect from them, they did not hit any mark in that, and I demanded it from them today. They had 3 simple targets on the board. Biggest one, just give me attitude, leave everything out on that green stuff. And, today against a very good, solid Jersey side, physical Jersey side, every player, all 16 of them today did absolutely brilliantly.
It looked like a slightly different setup and formation for you this season. Obviously, a couple home debuts for our 2 young players in Leo Downing and old Prince de Cruz. How do you think they made an impact in the game today?
Leo and Prince were absolutely brilliant. The one thing I love about those young lads is they are so physical and so powerful. They don't pull out of a challenge, which for young lads is very rare in football now. You've got lots of technically gifted players, but maybe that heart on the sleeve and actually willing to go to battle and go to war isn't always there. But those 2 really did show it. We changed a couple of little things. It was just things we picked up at Cobham and just a few elements where we know very much Jersey are very good with rotations in the middle of the park. So we wanted to nullify that a little bit and just give ourselves a bit more structure. I think that was something that, again, we looked at the Cobham result and it was just areas that maybe we'd gone away a little bit from certain parts of our DNA. So it was just a bit more of a return to that. And it came off well for us.
And of course, periods of time in that first half looked a bit of a who was going to take a bit of lead. Obviously, Jersey Bull had quite a lot of possession. We're expecting them to dominate in possession. Was it thinking about always setting up for a counter-attack?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, I think we've said it before, is I'm never too concerned about opposition having the ball. It's about how we are in our shape and what we are definitely out of our structures. We're a very good counter-attacking side. Boney's always sitting on the shoulder of Lou Blake, which gives us options in there. Blakey's very good at holding the ball up top. And obviously Leo brings out another dynamic, which what Fareed does for us regularly, which is that pacing behind. And look, we've also just recognised a few different elements of our game where we're better at on the transition. So we wanted to bring that back into our play a bit more today, and just not overcomplicate things. I think sometimes, as coaching staff, that's included, that we can sometimes overthink things and overlook into things. And we just went back to basics today, and it paid off.
How worried were you in the first half that you're potentially going down to 10 players?
A little bit, as always with these challenges. But look, I mean, you look at the first challenge and sometimes you think, what's the first challenge that's gone in and the referee's then gone in yellow hard straight away. He's done a similar thing then to Leo when that was a first challenge. It is a bit of a heart in mouth moment, but at the same time, you've got to trust your players to learn to keep their heads and to see it through. It's maybe a bit unfair on Prince because it meant he had to come off, because we had to manage the situation. But, again, for the minutes he was on the pitch, he was absolutely brilliant.
And an enforced change at the start of the second half. Luke Fair coming off. Is he all okay?
Yeah, he's fine. I think Luke's just had quite a hard week with work and the rest of it. And I think he felt a migraine coming on and it was just precautionary, just obviously to look after the player and look after his welfare. So obviously, allowed him to be in the dressing room just to get some sugar and stuff back on board, which brought Nunez into the part. But again, Nunez was actually brilliant when he came on, aerially dominant, picked up second phase balls. And, again, it just worked within our structures for what we needed.
Are you confident with what your best midfield is? Because it seems at times you're a little bit unsure of who fits in what role. You've been chopping and changing quite a few positions around there. Various players have come in and come out. Are you confident with what that is now?
Yeah, I think definitely so. I think, we've spoken to the boys about the fact that a few of them have maybe been inconsistent in performances, which means they keep opening up opportunities for other players to then take that chance. There's always going to be those factors where we have looked at certain performances and they've dropped their levels, and they have to accept that, which means then their teammates are going to be chomping at the bit to come in, this is just a constant case in football. There is a little bit in there as well that we've had a lot of games recently, so the fitness levels and looking after players to make sure that they're ready for the next game. So a little bit of rotation in there as well comes in, but you can tell what stage of the season we're at because I'm making 5 substitutions to make sure that my players are looked after and to make sure we're staying on top of it.
We often normally talk about the role Sam Marks plays and playing all different positions. On commentary, myself and Sam were trying to obviously work out what you were trying to do, and obviously a couple of substitutions made, expect them to slot into defence, but end up going up a wing. It seemed like a complete sort of change of formation, almost sort of planning again for that counter-attack in the second half.
Definitely. In regards to Sam, the boy's just a talisman for us. I could put him anywhere on the pitch. I'm sure I could put him in goal, to be honest, and he'd end up doing a great job for us. Look, for me, today, him and Pestle had a really solid centre-back partnership, and it's one of those that if it's working, don't change it. You don't mix it. And again, the back four today were very, very good in what they were doing within their shape and structures. And again, we've got various players that don't just play in one position, which is great for us, which means that we can interchange things and make it difficult for teams. TJ, a young 16-year-old lad coming in at left wing today, and being attacking and aerially dominant and having opportunities, and that's what we want from our squad. We want people to keep giving us those little headaches, and just mean we can interchange things, which means we don't become predictable for our opposition.
And obviously, seeing always sort of against the passion of play with the possession that Jerseyville had and dominating, not really hitting the target, not really challenging Joel much in goal. And then Marinescu picks up a fantastic ball to Dan Bone. Talk me through your thoughts on that goal.
Brilliant. We challenged Mahale with being a bit more quicker on the ball with his releases and being a bit more visionary with his play. Because sometimes I think even here, he's learned to understand that he sometimes takes 2-3 too many touches, which then breaks down play and allows an opposition player to get back in on him and allows them to get back in shape. So we said, look, if you pick up that ball in the pocket, which is exactly what he did today, look to get the out ball in. And obviously Boney is playing on the shoulder of the centre-back and the full-back to go and get those goals. And a brilliant ball from Mahale to be able to do that. And again, it's just elements that we look at that means that we've got different parts to our game, which makes us dangerous. But fantastic from Mahale.
And of course, Jerseyville finally scored from a set piece. Is that disappointing to see from a set piece for how well the back four had lined up?
It is, and I think it's definitely because it's a second phase bit of play. I think we maybe didn't pick the man up back post, but then we also haven't them pick up the boys that are then picking up in the middle. So you got to give Jersey Bulls credit for that. They've taken a decent set piece there, and they've caused us a problem. And they've capitalised on that. But again, I think I've said it before. The teams that are up there in this league, that's what they do to you. So again, you've got to give them credit on that. We'll have a look at it and we'll address it with a couple of players just to make sure. But again, I think it's just a bit of tired legs and the rest of it. We've had a lot of games and, I think it was just, worn down bodies. But, apart from that, one moment in the game, faultless.
Of course, you wanted attitude. You've mentioned that at the top of the interview. Going away to the league leaders, Farnham, obviously unstoppable at the moment. Fleet seem to have a way of perhaps playing almost, would you say, out of their skin against the sort of teams in more form and perhaps struggling in a way against those low in the league. So you expecting a good game on Saturday?
Definitely. I think it's one that obviously when we were on a good run of form, we were up there with these guys anyway, and it's somewhere where I still think that we should be. We've allowed ourselves to drop out of that pack a little bit with a couple of performances. The reality is, for me, I don't think it's a lifter performance. I think that's just actually our standard. I think that's where our line is, where we should be challenging these teams. Obviously, Farnham, they're going to be a challenge for us, but I think that we have the ability to cause them that upset. Again, if those boys show the desire that they've done tonight, Farnham will be in for a few shocks. And again, it's about you got to respect the opposition you're going up against because they have done well and it's credit to them. But at the same time, you don't bow over. You go to war with them and you show them a hard time.
Player of the match
today for me, Matt Sermon. Matt Sermon was absolutely brilliant. He's worked his proverbials off. We've challenged him a little bit with a couple of bits recently and about his internal performance and how he leads the team because he is a senior within our group. Today, that's what I saw from him. He battled for every ball. He was aerially dominant. We dropped him back into more of his normal position, and I think he did extremely well in that. And he keeps playing 90 minutes for me. At some point I'm going to have to rest this lad, but I'll tell you what, the lad's got an incredible engine on him, and the boys well and truly backed him today. And you know what, he deserves every part of that.
And finally, a message for the fans.
No, again, just cheers, guys. Brilliant support you gave us again tonight. The boys feel you, and it's in their hearts and it's in their souls. And all my players now just feel part of Fleet. They love every part of this club, and I think it's a case of let's roll on to Farnham and let's take as many of you guys with us as possible because let's see if we can go take over.
Elliott, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.